Oh, hi, my name's Stuart. Are you bad at practicing? Are you practicing wrong? What a terrible thing to say. That's no way to start a conversation. Can you even practice wrong? I feel like if you're practicing at all, then you're doing something right. So I guess what I meant to say is, are you practicing ineffectively? Could your practicing be more efficient? I mean, the answer, of course, is yes. You can always do a better job one way or another. But there is one bad habit that so many aspiring guitarists and just musicians in general make. I'm about to tell you something that may seem obvious, but I am willing to bet it is something that many of you haven't really wrapped your head around. So I'm going to talk about it for a very long time. But first, let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story about when I was just a young boy, barely 16 years old. I think I was actually almost 17. I have no idea how old I was. I participated in a summer vocal jazz workshop. I had to make a choice between being the star quarterback or being in the summer vocal jazz workshop. So of course I chose the summer vocal jazz workshop. It was led by the world-renowned choral director and composer Phil Mattson, an incredibly talented, creative, encouraging, and just like so intimidating and terrifying of a human being. My grammar got mixed up somewhere in there, but that doesn't even matter. Grammar is not a part of this story. We had the first day of the workshop, and it started with a choir rehearsal. Everyone was lined up there, ready to sing, and Mr. Mattson said, "Take out the song, I've Got You Under My Skin, as performed by Frank Sinatra, the vocal jazz arrangement." And everyone was looking at the first measure, trying to figure out what their notes were for the first notes of the song and getting all that worked out. And then he said, "Go to page 4, measure 48. I don't actually remember what measure it was or what page it was, but the point is, we started the first rehearsal in the middle of a song. And I literally felt like I must have missed the first rehearsal. I'm like, if this is the first day of this workshop, but why in the world is he starting in the middle of the song? As it turns out, that section where we started was kind of like the climax of the song. It was had the most going on. It had the most to learn. It was a very difficult part of the song. It was sort of the heart of the song. So we started there, got some practice with that. I'm going to use the word heart again, the heart of the song. Heart. And then after we settled into that, eventually we went back and learned the beginning, but we proceeded to do it out of order. We learned the song out of order. We would start a rehearsal session with the end of the song. We'd start in the middle. Sometimes maybe we'd start at the beginning, but we didn't just start at the beginning and run through the song. And that was crazy to me. What the director was doing was having us work on the parts of the song that we actually needed to work on, not just go from the beginning to the end. And it's taken me a long time to learn that lesson, but here's that thing that may seem obvious, but I'm going to say it anyway. Don't practice what you want to practice. Prioritize what you need to practice. So that means you don't always have to start at the beginning. You don't always have to play the main part of the song. When you sit down to practice or stand up to practice, I don't know, start off with the part that you know you need the most work with. Most, I said. It's a new word I just made up. It's a mix of most and moist. Most. Now, I need to put a little disclaimer in here. You should practice what you want to practice. You want to have fun practicing. I'm not telling you just to play all the miserable parts and be a miserable person. I just mean if you would like to get the most bang out of your practice buck and you want to make efficient use of your serious practice time, then you have to focus on the difficult parts that maybe aren't the parts that are the most fun to play. Got it? What exactly do I mean by this? Let me give you a few examples. Scales. Plenty of people are great at starting at the lowest note and working their way up to the highest note when playing scales. Going ascending through the scale. But when it comes time to go down the scale, oops, I accidentally played it right. I tried to play it wrong, but I messed up. But when it comes time to go down the scale, descending, they don't know it quite as well. They're messing up. Okay, I got mixed up. Let me just start at the beginning again. They play it ascending again. And then maybe they don't even try descending again. They just go, you know what, I did the scale. That's the scale. I did it. And moved on. Because you learn the scale with that lowest note usually. And then usually when you practice playing scales, you start with that lowest note. So you get really good at going in one direction, but maybe not so good going the other direction. And so I need to practice my scales more. I keep messing up. Okay. Start back at the low note. So here's what I am proposing to you. When you sit down to practice and you go, I'm going to practice my scales, don't start with the lowest note. Don't do it. Start with the high note and work your way backwards. Maybe you have a whole practice session where you never start at the lowest note. You just start at the highest note, go down through the scale, then when you finish that, just go descending again. That's the part of the scale you probably need the most practice with, so just don't even do it the other direction. Just do it that more difficult direction for you because you haven't practiced it as much. What about a song? What about a song? A classic example is Stairway to Heaven. Stairway to Heaven. Right here. That chord right there, get into that weird D chord in Stairway to Heaven. Oh man, I think it's the hardest part of the song. I mean, to each their own. Maybe that's not the hardest part of the song for you, but for me, that part was hard to learn. Here's what I see all the time, every day, thousands of times. I see people start at the beginning. Oh, these chords sound so good. Then they get to this fourth chord. Oh, they got it. It only took them 10 years to get to that chord. Okay. They might even know, okay, that's a hard part. I need to practice that part. So what do? They go back to the beginning, play the first few chords. Okay, here we go. Okay, they do it. They practice that part. But they're going through all those other chords at the beginning that they've already pretty much mastered. So here's once again what I propose to you. You just got home from work. Oh, I gotta practice guitar. I'm gonna practice Stairway to Heaven. That's my favorite song. I better practice that D chord because it's hard to play. So here's what we're gonna do. We're not gonna start at the beginning. We're going to start on the third chord right here, and then go to the D. And then what's next? I'm not gonna go on to the F, which is the next chord in the song. I'm gonna go back to the third chord and go to the D. Oh, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Back to the third chord. One more time. Isn't this fun watching me practice? So, and then that's my Stairway to Heaven practice session right there. I never even played the first two chords, and I didn't ever go past the fourth chord. I just played the third chord, fourth chord, third chord, fourth chord, because that is the difficult part that I felt like I needed to practice. I'm getting so much more, as I said before, bang for my practicing buck. Another song. Hotel California by Eagles. I don't think it's the Eagles. I think it's just Eagles. I might be wrong about that, but I'm 92% sure that it's just Eagles. Hotel California starts with the B minor chord. If you are just learning bar chords, this is a tricky chord. This is a tricky chord. And then it goes to an F sharp. That's another difficult chord. But then we have some easy chords. We have A, E, G, D, E minor, and then we go to F sharp. And then the whole thing starts over. I feel like I may have left a chord out of there because I was talking and being animated. That song has all these easy chords in the middle, And it's bookended by these difficult chords, the B minor, the F sharp. I'm about to make a proposition once again. And when I say proposition, I have to go like this. Propose. Here's what I'm proposing to you. Where are we going to start when we practice these difficult bar chords in Hotel California? There's a bar chord at the beginning. Maybe we should just start there. Wrong! What a terrible answer. What an embarrassing, terrible answer. We're not going to start at the beginning because that getting to that first bar chord is the tough part. Playing it, that's not that bad. It's you want to be able to get to it quickly. So if you start with that first chord, you can take as long as you want. Because look, I'm going to start from the beginning. Here we go. All right, I'm ready. See, I could take as long as I wanted getting that chord ready to go. I'm going to start with the second to last chord of the verse, which happens to be an E minor. But Stuart, E minor is an easy chord. I thought your whole thing was we were starting with hard parts of the song. Listen to me. Right after that E minor, we go into an F sharp. So that is a tricky transition right there. We're starting with an easy one, but then immediately going into a difficult one. And then we get to practice the most important thing of all, which is cycling back to the beginning of the section. That is something that gets neglected so often. People play a section of the song through once, but don't really get good at transitioning back into the beginning. So now we get to practice getting into our bar chord and then going back to the beginning with another bar chord, and then we'll go ahead and throw in the F sharp that comes right after that first B minor. I'm saying a lot of chord names here. We just played 4 chords that were the 4 most difficult chord transitions of the song. Let's do it again. E minor to F sharp to B minor, back to F sharp, and we skipped all the A and the E and the G and the D. Those chords are fun to play, but you're already good at those. Those are just fun open chords that you're a pro at. You can play that for fun on your own time, but during your serious practice time, let's focus on the difficult stuff. Speaking of focusing on difficult stuff, let's give another example. Soloing. Here, okay. I have a good example of practicing solos. This is when I was a young boy, barely 16 years old. I might have been 17. I'm making this up. When I was in high school, middle school, I was 17 in middle school. I liked the band that was known as Metallica, and they had a song that I liked that was called Fade to Black. And Fade to Black began with a very nice guitar solo that went like this. And then it got really hard, and it went like. I never even learned it. When I was in middle school, I was like, I'm gonna play this Metallica solo. It's gonna be great. That first part is so much fun. I just spit everywhere. That first part is so much fun to play. It sounds good. It's like, oh look, I'm a guitar soloer. I'm a pro. But then I get to the hard part and I go, you know what? I'm really good at the first part. I'm just gonna play the first part again. Man, and then I never went back. One of my great regrets in life, I never went back and learned the second part of the solo. It's too late. It's too late for me, though. It's way too late for me to learn the second part of that solo. The point I'm making is I must have played that first part of the solo 5,000 times. If I had just taken a fraction of those practice sessions and started at the hard part, bro, I'd be so good at it by now. But like I said, it's too late for me. So I'm hoping you can learn from my mistakes and learn the second half of the Fade to Black solo. Call to action. I dare you to go learn the Fade to Black solo, but don't even learn the beginning at first. Start from right where it goes. It's not exactly how it goes, but you get the idea. All right, I think I've rambled on enough without actually teaching you anything. So we'll leave it there. But I have my final thoughts. At the beginning of this video, not in the beginning, in the middle, somewhere in the middle, I said something like don't practice what you want to practice. Practice what you need to practice. Here's what's going to happen. As you get more used to practicing those difficult parts, the parts that you're not as good at, the parts that are more intricate and need more practice time, you will start to realize how rewarding that is, and you will be excited to practice the difficult parts of the song. So at first, it's going to feel like you're not playing the parts that you want to play, but after just a little bit of practicing, you will find that you want to practice those difficult parts. You want to learn the parts that are really frustrating right now, because you'll know how great it's going to be once you've put in that time and you are the world's greatest guitar player. My name is Stuart. This is Guitar Lessons with Stuart. Is that what these? I don't know if I have a name for this video series. And this is me telling you that this is the end of the video.